Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving headfirst into the absolute chaos of the global transfer window. We're talking massive price tags, wild rumors, and those huge confirmed mega deals that are literally reshaping the market as we speak. If you follow the beautiful game, you already know the transfer window isn't just about football, right? It is high-stakes poker, and the chips are worth hundreds of millions of euros. I'm super excited to guide you through this, untangle all the madness, and give you a crystal clear picture of exactly who is going where and just how much cash is trading hands.
Since the market moves at lightning speed, here is our quick roadmap for today. First, signed, sealed, and delivered. Then, the Arsenal striker shuffle. After that, Juventus eyes new firepower, followed by Barcelona's ambitious shopping list. And we'll wrap it all up with the rapid rumor mill.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, signed, sealed, and delivered.
Just look at the sheer financial scale of the deals that are already finalized. We are talking serious money here. Mason Greenwood is officially heading to Fenerbahce for a staggering 40 million euros. Over in the Premier League, Manchester United just triggered Yuri Tielemans' £35 million release clause to bring him to Old Trafford. And it's not just the men's game making waves. In the women's game, London City Lionesses secured Kadidiatou Diani on a 3-year contract for a cool £500,000.
But you know, the real hidden financial victory for Manchester United in that Greenwood deal? It's all in the fine print. See, this wasn't just a straight cash sale from Marseille to Fenerbahce. United played it really smart. They inserted a massive 35% sell-on clause when Greenwood originally went to Marseille. So, to put that into perspective, 35% of that €40 million fee is heading right back to Old Trafford. It really just goes to show how incredibly complex and forward-thinking these modern contracts have actually become.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Arsenal striker shuffle.
Okay, so Arsenal is plotting a massive attacking overhaul under Mikel Arteta this summer, and it all centers around this totally fascinating potential player exchange. On one hand, you have Victor Gyökeres. He just bagged 14 goals in 36 Premier League matches last season. But get this, Arteta is reportedly willing to use him as a primary trade chip. Why? Well, to lure Atletico Madrid's superstar forward, Julian Alvarez, to North London. Now, Atletico actually has an interest in Gyökeres, which makes this swap mechanically possible, but honestly, Arsenal hasn't officially stepped up their pursuit just yet. So why the need for a convoluted player exchange in the first place? It all comes down to one absolutely massive number. 150 million euros. That is Alvarez's valuation. Doing a straight cash deal at that price point is just incredibly difficult to pull off. Plus, Arsenal has another pretty big hurdle here. Alvarez has reportedly identified Barcelona as his preferred destination. So if Arsenal wants to make this mega deal happen, they're going to have to get really creative with the assets they already have. And hey, you don't orchestrate a 150 million euro reshuffle without moving a few other pieces around the board to raise some capital, right? So to fund this whole striker shuffle, Arsenal is offloading some serious talent. Leandro Trossard has already agreed to a 20 million euro deal to join Besiktas. But even bigger than that, winger Gabriel Martinelli is being heavily tracked by a slew of major clubs. We're talking Juventus, RB Leipzig, and several flush clubs over in the Saudi Pro League. The domino effect is definitely in full swing.
Let's pivot over to Section 3, Juventus eyes new firepower.
Following that Martinelli thread to Italy brings us to Juventus and their urgent hunt for some new firepower. You know, missing out on your primary targets really forces a club to completely shift their tactical strategy, and Juve is right in the thick of it. They originally had their sights set on Paris Saint-Germain forward Randal Colomouani, but as that deal looks less and less likely to happen, the Bianconeri have had to completely pivot. And they aren't just looking for any random striker. They've identified a highly specific tactical trait as their absolute priority. They want a player who can impact the game with, quote, runs in behind the defensive line. It is a super precise profile that they clearly feel is missing from their current attack.
And that highly specific search? Well, it's led them directly to Valérien Balogun, the 25-year-old USMNT and AS Monaco striker. But acquiring that perfect tactical fit is not going to come cheap. An offer in the region of 50 million euros is what's going to be required to land him. Plus, Juventus isn't alone on this one. They are going to have to fight off some really serious interest from Chelsea, PSG, and Tottenham Hotspur if they want to secure Balogun's signature.
All right, next up, Section 4, Barcelona's ambitious shopping list.
Over in Spain, Barcelona is definitely prioritizing a move for a forward like Julian Alvarez, but they are absolutely not putting all their eggs in one 150 million euro basket.
They've got a pretty ambitious backup plan, though. To be fair, each target comes with its own major hurdles. First off, they're keeping close tabs on Spurs captain Christian Romero, who is apparently looking for a new challenge. Then, in the attack, they're admiring Hoffenheim's Fisnik Aslani, who is available via a €29 million release clause. And finally, there's Dusan Vlahovic. Now, he's available as a free agent, which sounds great, but there is a massive catch. Barcelona is totally unimpressed by his astronomical salary demands, which honestly threaten to push him over to Besiktas instead.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, the rapid rumor mill.
Over at AC Milan, new manager Ruben Amorim is literally wasting zero time. He is actively trying to raid the Premier League right now. Amorim is preparing to kick off talks for Manchester United defender Noussair Mazraoui, who is actually a player Amorim signed when he was managing at Old Trafford. Milan sees Mazraoui as the absolute ideal replacement for Pervez Estupiñán, though United isn't super keen on letting him go unless the player himself pushes for the San Siro switch. Oh, and on top of all that, Milan is currently leading the race to sign Arsenal striker Gabriel Jesus. Wild, right?
Speaking of Manchester United, their midfield rebuild actually hit a slight brick wall this week. They were actively discussing a potential approach for Real Madrid's incredibly dynamic midfielder, Eduardo Camavinga. However, the 21-year-old made his current preference abundantly clear. He wants to stay right where he is at the Bernabeu.
Meanwhile, the global goalkeeper merry-go-round is in full swing. Ajax is, remarkably, remaining super hopeful about pulling off a massive coup for Barcelona goalkeeper Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Juventus, after really struggling to reach an agreement with Aston Villa for Emiliano Martinez, has now refocused their attention entirely on Tottenham's Guglielmo Vicario. And Manchester United keeper Radek Vitek is apparently very keen to leave the club amid some serious interest from Celtic. Oh, and step outside the net for a second. PÉREZ FC is making a highly ambitious €30 million play for Canada international striker Jonathan David.
And I promise you, the sheer volume of global movement does not stop there. The Saudi Pro League is flexing its financial muscle once again, with both Al Nassr and Al Hilal tracking Barcelona midfielder Marc Casado. Over in England, Crystal Palace is showing real interest in Arsenal midfielder Christian Norgard, while Juventus midfielder Douglas Luiz is apparently wide open to making a switch to Everton. Down in Italy, AS Roma is lining up a move for West Ham winger Crescencio Somerville. And looking stateside, the Columbus Crew are closing in on securing a loan deal for Sao Paulo striker Tapia. I mean, it is just absolutely staggering how many moving parts there are in the market right now.
So, we've gone through the confirmed millions, the wildly complex player swaps, and a rumor mill that is just spinning completely out of control. With massive €150 million valuations for players like Alvarez, and these domino effects spreading all the way from North London to Saudi Arabia and the MLS, the landscape of global football is literally shifting beneath our feet. So keep your eyes peeled, focus on the facts we've laid out today, and ask yourself this: when the window finally slams shut, which of these breathtaking mega deals will actually cross the finish line? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time as we continue to decode the beautiful game.